Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. Strawberry latte. Today's video is going to be my June TBR. You know how this works, so let's just get into it. The first book that I'm hoping to read in June, it's been on my TBR a couple of times this year already, and I just really need to get to it because I want to finish this series. I might just do one after the other, honestly, because I keep delaying it. But Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas, this is the next book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm not reading Tower of Dawn. I know it's like a heinous crime, but I'm not. I'm going to skip right to Empire of Storms and then hopefully read Kingdom of Ash soon after. I can't really tell you what this one is about, but I did read Queen of Shadows and liked it. The first 3 books I really didn't like and didn't understand the hype, and I still don't understand the hype completely, but everyone told me it keeps getting better. I feel like it shouldn't take this long for it to get better, but I did enjoy Queen of Shadows, so it's enough for me to propel me into finishing the series because I'm going to anyway because it's Sarah J. Maas, and I feel like I have to because of the other things that have happened in other series. So, I'm going to read that. I hope. I'm planning on it at least. And then another one that I've been meaning to get to is Fury Song by Rosaria Munda. This is book 3 in the Aurelian cycle, so it's another book series that I've been trying to finish up and just haven't. But this was a dragon rider, like, war college also, so kind of like if that triggers Fourth Wing in your brain, this came before that, but it's really interesting. It's a lot more political and military-esque, and really, really good. It's very political science heavy. It's heartbreaking, and I'm sure that that's not ending. I'm sure I'm just preparing. I think the reason I put it off, honestly, was because I didn't want to get hurt anymore. And I know it's going to get worse. I just know it. It's the last book in the trilogy also. So I just know it's going to hurt so bad. I'm hoping to get to that one. In this one, you're following 2 characters, Lee and Anna, who they are on opposite sides of a war, basically. So there was a regime. There was like an empire, and he was the emperor. And the people thought that it was a corrupt empire. It probably was. And they overtake it. So there's a coup, and it's overtaken. He's dead. And in the middle of this war, Lee is the son of the emperor. I think it's the emperor. If I'm not 100% accurate, bear with me. But he's like a son of that family, of the ruling class. And so he is left orphaned. And there's, in the rebellion, and some of the rebel leaders that are leading the military, they're in the military, they are the parents of Anna, and her parents are also killed in this war. And so they're both left orphaned, and they grow up together in an orphanage, kind of on opposite sides of this battle, this war, this situation. So they become very close. They're best friends, but their upbringings are very different, and their backgrounds are very different, and their views on things are very different. So it's really interesting as you go through the trilogy of how they have to like reconcile those things and how they're pulled in a lot of different directions, but also seeing the realities of war and rebellion. And even if you think you're on the good side, that doesn't mean that good things are happening. And that the choices that people have to make, there's no good ones. There's only choices that they have to make. And it gets really dark and deep and intriguing. It's sad. I think it really kind of highlights that the true reality of war. Like, you can choose for these people to go hungry, or you can choose to go bankrupt. Like a lot of different things that they have to choose. It just seems like there's no good choice. There's no choice that makes everyone happy, or even like makes you happy, and that makes you more well off, that makes you feel good about the decision you have to make. And I think that's kind of like a reality of war. And in that, it becomes very deep, dark, interesting, and I'm afraid of book 3 of ripping my heart out. But I think I've prepared myself enough for it that I will just be able to read it and be okay. But I want to finish the trilogy. There's only 3 books, and I've read the first 2, so I just need to get it done. So that's also one I'm planning on reading. And then the next one is one of my anticipated releases, and that's Shadow Reaper by Lynette Noni. I read Prison Healer by Lynette Noni and really, really liked that trilogy a lot. Fell in love with the characters, really enjoyed the magic system and kind of the elemental stuff that was in the midst of that. The first book is really interesting because you're following like a girl who's in prison, and she enters these trials that you're not supposed to survive, and if you survive them, you get your freedom. But we're not talking about that one. Shadow Reaper. It says, never bargain with a Reaper. The city of Averell is in peril, plagued by a deadly black mist that kills all it touches, and reapers who roam the streets, stealing magic from innocent children in their thirst for power. 17-year-old Viridia Solis has trained for years to hunt these reapers, but their ranks keep growing, led by the man who murdered her parents, the notorious Reaper Priest. When the priest's most loyal follower, Reeve Ashton, is captured, he offers Viri a chance to avenge her parents for a price. She knows better than to bargain with a Reaper, let alone this Reaper, but his offer is too good to resist. Soon she's breaking him out of prison, colluding with his crew of magical thieves, and following him deep into the Black Mist Forest in search of an ancient legend, all so they can stop the Reaper's priest's plot to doom the city. Viri is staking her life on Reeve's plan, but how can she trust a silver-tongued criminal to keep his word? And how can she trust her own heart when a buried secret could shatter everything? Full of relentless twists, enemies to lovers romance, found family, and high-stakes action, Shadow Reaper is the start of a breathtaking new duology from Lena Noni. Because I've read this author's works before, and because this just sounds really fun, I'm excited to get to it. So hopefully I can get to this. It comes out June 2nd, so I feel like I have a good chance of being able to get to it. But that's the next one. And then I have a NetGalley audio arc of Too Fast to Fall, Fast Track Book 2 by Karen Booth. I have not read the first one, but that's okay because I saw this and it looked pretty cute. It's like a race car contemporary romance, but there's a dog in it. It just looked cute. I requested on NetGalley because it seemed pretty cute, and I got approved, so I need to read it. I also got All Hail Chaos, Startup Hell in this one, so I'm trying to get through those as fast as possible. I did All Hail Chaos already. This one's next on the docket, and the kind of premise of the book says, so what if she's crushing on a race car driver? That doesn't mean it's love at first lap. But maybe it's love at first lap, dog? Yesterday, Piper Murphy was just another dog sitter helping her sister with wedding prep while pretending she's over her own broken engagement. Today, she's the fill-in dog sitter for Formula One driver Emilio Bacchero. Brooding, gorgeous driver, cute plus naughty, cute lab, wolf down boy. When Emilio offers her a 5-week gig as his live-in dog nanny in London, Piper can't help but say yes. It's out of her comfort zone, sure, but it's also a ticket to travel, racing, and caring for a dog she already adores. All while escaping the wedding planning that's put her failures front and center. Only being under the same roof means there's no escaping Emilio's intensity or grumpiness. Piper tries to be a sunny presence, but their clashes just fuel the slow burn tension to something nearly combustible. Because falling for your boss is risky when you have a broken heart. Falling for your famous boss with his adorable dog, that's a crash waiting to happen. Too Fast to Fall is part of the Fast Track series by Karen Booth. Don't miss the first book. It sounds cute. I love that there's a dog sitting element of this, and I've never read a race car driver romance, so I'm curious to see what I think of that. But there's a cute dog in it, so I hope I like it. Then the next one is also one of a series that I need to continue and finish, and that's the High Court of the Coffee Bean series by Jennifer Crope. You've heard me talk about Welcome to Fae Cafe multiple times. I love that book. And this is the third one. It's called Wanted, Our Roommate Who Isn't Evil. And this is following a couple of the characters we've met before in this series. But I'll read you the premise. It's the High Court of the Coffee Bean returns with a battle of wills and wit as two sworn enemies find themselves facing their worst nightmare, each other. In this enemies to brothers humorous fantasy, two dangerous fae who hate each other sign a contract to share an apartment without realizing who their new roommate will be. One is Drainian Evelry, former assassin of the Brotherhood of Assassins. The other is Luke Zelser, a deadly nine-tailed fox more powerful than nearly any fae from the dark corner of Ever. With several binding rules in their roommate contract, such as no loud noises, which means they'll have difficulty in trying not to kill each other, and no large messes, which means once they find a way to kill each other, they'll need to discreetly dispose of the body. The two enemies find themselves trapped in a close-quarter situation with only one to try and live together until the 3-month agreement runs out. Unless one of them can force the other to break the contract and be kicked out of the apartment for good by management. Thus, a battle of wills begins as two fae on opposite sides of the fairy wars try to make the living accommodations unbearable for one another. But Drainian has another problem, one he must hide from his new roommate. Whenever he falls asleep, his nights become haunted by a voice of his past, belonging to a girl who was never given a name. As she enters his nightmares and gets closer and closer to taking control of his dreams for good, Drainian is forced to remember key things about the North Corner Forest village he grew up in. A place he swore to never think about again, and the girl he once gave everything up for and who has now returned to haunt him forever. Drainian knows there's only one solution to keeping the girl with no name out of his: never fall asleep again. A Roommate Who Isn't Evil is book 3 of the High Court of the Coffee Bean series. A 4-book tale that follows a band of fairy assassins who enter the human world and try to live among them, hardly blending in at all. It's for readers who enjoy a mashup of books like The Cruel Prince by Holly Black and the comical TV show New Girl. It's cozy with a dollop of darkness, loaded with cookies and ice cream, and sprinkled with a few epic death matches. I love this series. I think it's so good and so fun and unique. But I'm curious about this one because I don't know if the girl with no name is going to be like the romance element, but so far it's followed each of the fairy assassins band, and they each kind of like end up with a girl. But I like that this has another element of bringing in Luke from a previous book and them being enemies and having to room together, and it's like a bromance kind of thing, and they're going to have to like fight it out. I think that's going to be an interesting element to this, so I'm very curious to continue. It's also so short. It's like 6 hours long, so shouldn't be hard to get to. And I've really loved the series so far. Because it's so short, I decided I'm going to add one more book to my TBR, if I can get my hands on it, and that's The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes by Tiffany Hunt. It sounds really funny, so we'll see, but it says a conflicted villain and his unstoppable bride form the realm's most chaotic alliance in this riotously funny, dark romantasy perfect for fans of Assistant to the Villain, but darker and spicier. What's mine stays mine. Step 1. Kidnap someone cute. Step 2. Force her into marriage. Step 3. Try not to catch feelings. When Dark Lord Casimir Blackrose kidnaps Lady Arabella for a forced marriage, he expects an obedient, trembling bride. What he gets is a knife to the throat and a furious woman who demands of her own. He may need her heroic bloodline to achieve ultimate dominion, but she's not about to make it this easy for him. Arabella has already survived her father's tower prison and a lifetime of being treated like property. Getting abducted by the realm's most notorious villain is just another Tuesday. If she must be married to the infuriating and infuriatingly attractive Dark Lord, she'll do it on her freedom within his fortress. Hands strictly to himself and completely honest about his plans. But when those plans go awry, Casimir faces his most terrifying challenge. He must date his own wife. Between magical training sessions, playing golf with the eyeballs of his enemies, and aphrodisiac dinners gone spectacularly wrong, his attempts at villainous seduction are failing at every turn. As Casimir and Arabella navigate magical explosions and jealous exes, they discover a far more terrifying prospect than war or magical. They might be actually falling for each other. This dark and sexy fantasy romance is perfect for readers who love a morally gray anti-hero who stays that way, a strong heroine who embraces her dark side. She doesn't need rescuing, thanks. Touch her and die trope, hilarious wicked banter, and sizzling spice. One bed, forced proximity, kidnap bride, forced marriage, and dark humor. It sounds like something I will really enjoy, so I hope that I can get to it. So far, those are all the books that I'm planning on reading in June. I would love to know at least one book you're planning on reading in June if you want to leave it in a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, but that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.